I'm Ryan Newman, and since I started with Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives, I found out that some people think that they can't be an organ donor. The truth is, anyone can sign up to be an organ donor.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyone can sign up to be an organ donor. So don't count yourself out because somebody's counting on you. Go to driventosavelives.org and sign up today.
But my heart's going to you, Ryan.
Love that shirt.
This Independence Day weekend, kick your party off with a bang. DeWeather Center presents the first annual DeWeather Cares Charity Softball Classic presented by the National Racing Network. The Palmerton Boobies, DeWeather Center Bluecocks, Blue Mountain I-95ers, Pocono Front Platers, Schuylkill County Crackers, Reading Nurses, Catasauqua Blue Tits, and Beltsville Lake Monsters will take the field in Emerald. Find out more on Facebook at DeWeather Center. DeWeather Center, offensively accurate.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. There's a reason that McConey Setup Shop is trusted by more virtual and real-world tracks and companies than any other setup shop in iRacing. With partners such as Stafford Motor Speedway, the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, Five Flag Speedway, Speed 51, and more. When you want something done right, you go to the experts at McConey Setup Shop.
With setups available for most series on both asphalt and dirt, built by a team of professional builders consisting of some of the top talents on the service, McConey Setup Shop LLC has what you need to hit the track with confidence. Head over to McConeySetupShop.com and learn why McConey Setup Shop is the official setup shop of Richmond Raceway Esports and is partnered with some of the largest names in virtual and real racing.
And remember, at McConey Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
If there's one thing every car guy hates, it's cleaning the garage. Do you want to take most of the time and hassle out of that job? Then call Zone Garage of Eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Agnes and her crew will have your garage, shop, basement, or even your porch looking great all the time. With unique patterns and designs, plus the ability to incorporate your logo or any artwork, your space will never have looked better. Installation is done in 1 day, guaranteed, and Zone Garage offers a 20-year warranty on the top coat. Their coatings are durable, anti-slipped, and impact resistant. Give them a call at 570-856-6067. That's 570-856-6067 for Zone Garage of Eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to South Boston Speedway, where tonight the stars and cars of the iRacing Sprint Car Cup will kick off 2021 season number 3. My name is Chris Graham. It is a pleasure to have you with us this evening. Qualifications just getting underway. 25 cars scheduled to make up the grid for tonight's race, and no surprises here. Ryan Sellers moving his way off onto the racetrack wearing the number 1. Saw a fantastic drive out of Ryan last night in the Silver Crown race. Tonight, we're going to get to see him do it in the sprint cars as well. Everybody's going to get 2 laps here in qualifications. 13.39 seconds is the quick time for Ryan Sellers. And as qualifying is underway, let's tell you a little bit about the racetrack here. Located in South Boston, Virginia, this 4/10 mile oval opened in 1957. 12 degrees of banking in the corners,
Place is going to be an absolute challenge to get around tonight. Talking to the drivers, one of the big things is making sure you keep the right side tires underneath you. 410 cubic inch V8 stock block pushrod engines making 820 all-American horsepower. 650 plus pound-feet of torque. These cars are absolutely going to put on a show here this evening for sure. Qualifications get ready to wrap up here. Let's tell you a little bit about the rules of the road for this evening. This is round 1 of the Season 3 Championship. 60 laps is the distance. Cautions are called by the iRacing platform. No human admins on this one. Restarts are single file. Lapped cars will head to the back. Big thing of note here, caution laps do not count in the iRacing Sprint Car Cup, so that will certainly be something to keep an eye on for sure here. Just waiting on a couple of cars to make their times here. One of the last cars to roll out will be Mike Lefhol's new name here to the to the National Racing Network broadcast events. Also waiting here, DL Lemon has not taken a time yet. Everybody else has gotten a lap in the books. Lefhol's going to be 23rd quick on the speed charts. You can hear that car rolling around about half throttle all the way around here, getting a lap in the books. So it looks like Ryan Sellers will be your quick timer here this evening. Unless DL Lemon's going to be able to put a big number up here on the speed charts. A lot of great racing coming up here for the sprint cars. Tonight we are at South Boston. Next week, North Wilkesboro Speedway is where the sprint cars are going to head to. We'll follow it up with races at Lanier National Speedway and the Iowa Speedway. Big night of racing tonight, in fact. Coming up at the conclusion of the Sprint Car Cup race will be the TNT PM18 All-Oval Series presented by Carolina Simworks. That race will go 50 minutes from Richmond Raceway. Should have a pretty fantastic battle in that one as well. Over on that side of things, Jason Owens still with a pretty sizable point lead, but Wes Shire, Kevin Smalley, James Curtis, even James Watson all going to have a shot at the title, as that series is just past the halfway point. With about 15 seconds left in qualifications, we can now kind of guarantee here that Ryan Sellers will be your quick timer this evening. Just waiting for the last couple of seconds to tick off the board here. Let's get you your starting lineup for tonight's racing here at South Boston Speedway. On the pole for tonight's race will be the number 1, Ryan Sellers, lining up to his outside. The number 94 on your screen. It'll be the number 2 in timing and scoring. That is Jeffrey Stanton. Jason Brown, Chris Janke in row number 2. Jim Vig, Derek Love in row 3. Stephen Mastro, Michael Berthay in row number 4. Dan Smith, Donnie Staubitz in row number 5. Josh Batista and Joe Adams in row 6. Kyle Mooney, Steven Spears, row 7. Brian Payne, Ron Quinzel in row number 8. Gwendolyn Old and Mike Braun in row number 9. Row 10 will have Wade Fields and Mike Barry. Jordan Nissen and Jason Steinhurst in row number 11. Row 12, Mike Lefholz and David Hamble. DL Lemon going to round out the field. Green flag in the air. We're underway here at South Boston Speedway. Sellers able to jump out to the early lead. Those two going to continue the fight out at the front of the field. Sellers sets the quickest lap of the race. Everybody going to get single file. Caution flag on the speedway. Early trouble back in the pack. Trouble for Jordan Neeson. Take a look here and see what happened to Jordan. Keep your eye on that black and green number 23 machine. A little bit of a wiggle just ahead of them. A couple of cars making contact. That will bring out the first caution flag of tonight's racing action. Just a couple of laps in the books, already getting caution flag number 1 on the speedway, but hasn't stopped Ryan Sellers from being pretty darn quick here at the jump. Quick lap time 13.42 seconds. Get to see timing and scoring do its little dance here as it cycles everybody through. Basically, the way iRacing handles caution laps not counting is under caution. Everybody who passes the start-finish line crashes. If you crash, you get an end-of-line penalty. Once everybody cycles through, so you're going to be right back to where you need to be at the front of the field. As Ryan Sellers is where he wants to be. Out in front in a big way. Call it 3 car lengths off of turn number 2. Jason Brown, Chris Janke. Going to be fighting for the 3rd position, but Jeffrey Stanton closing in on your race leader. As always, this race is on a little bit of a time constraint, at least in terms of the broadcast. So just to remind everybody, if we get too tight on time towards the end here, we will have to cut over to the TNT series. But from what we were hearing from the drivers in the pre-race, the discussion really centered around how you were able to make the car work over the long run. Keeping the tires underneath it was going to be really important. One of the things the drivers discussed was how important the weather was going to be tonight. 84-degree ambient temperature, 88 degrees on the track temp, so a pretty warm evening here in South Boston, Virginia. Winds out of the southwest at about 9 miles an hour. Also, 75% humidity. That's a pretty big number as well. So definitely something to kind of keep an eye on in terms of how the conditions may change here over the course of the night. This good battle between 7 of Jim Vig. Vig down to the inside. He's going to bounce it off the inside retaining wall. Oh, and gets absolutely drilled. We're going to wad up a bunch of sprint cars down the front straightaway. Drivers meeting turn 1. You can't park there. Take a look here. We'll get you a look from the overhead at what happened to Jim Vig. Show you the first one here from up on top of the tower. The 7 machine gets a little bit squirrely off at turn number 4. Catches it down to the inside retaining wall, slides back up in front. And from there, it was just a mess. Mike Barry went for a wild ride. A little bit further back in the pack. See if we try to get the look here from... We're going to go on board here first with Jim Vig. Ugly set of hits there. Now let's see what happened to Mike Barry here. You'll see the carnage start to unfold in front of him. Oh, he got punted. Flew all the way down into the turn 1 catch fence. Big old punch to the throttle. Mike Barry gets it righted back up, but unfortunately, that's going to be a big old mess for a lot of drivers here early in this field. See, we can't get a word with Mike here under caution. Mike, looked like you were getting woed up for that incident just fine, and then, well, you got drop kicked into the turn 1 catch fence.
Yeah, I really don't know. I'm going to have to look at the replay before I say anything. But, yeah, just unfortunate the way it happened. I mean, I thought we were going to get through it fine. Then, you get run in the back. But, that stuff like that happens. We're going to fix some damage. Hopefully try and get our way out there and get back on the lead lap.
With 25 cars in the field tonight, there's still a pretty big opportunity to earn some points here if the damage repair is good enough on that number 11 machine, correct?
Yep. So we're going to just try our best here. I mean, that's all we can do. Thankfully, we don't lose any laps under caution if we pit, so.
All right, there you go. There's Mike Barry. Tough luck there early on for Mike. Pace car comes back in. Green flag goes back in the air one more time. We are back underway here. Lap number 11, 12 of 60. Still Sellers, Stanton, Brown, Janky, Love, your top 5. Everybody towards the front, going to be single filed out here. Really a case of needing to log some laps. This good battle between Joe Adams and Kyle Mooney. Let us know in the comments where you're watching from, who you're hanging out with tonight. Hopefully you're enjoying the show. A little bit further back in the pack, Steven Spears is going to be looking inside the 19 of DL Lemon. Lemon up 10 spots from the drop of the green flag. That's the car that elected not to take time in qualifications. Maybe not the worst strategy. Start the race from the back. Avoid all the carnage, as we now have a total of 6 cars who are either out of the race or on pit road, including Mike Barry, Brian Payne, Gwendolyn Old, Jim Vig, Donnie Stallbitz, and Jordan Neeson. A real tough break there is for Jim Vig. Vig expecting to be one of the contenders for the Sprint Car Cup Championship this season. Caution flag back on the racetrack. Trouble for DL Lemon. We just talked about the guy in a good way. Take a look and see what happened here. Just a little bit of contact with the 25 machine that was slow down the back straightaway. That was David Hamble. And unfortunately, the 19 goes around as a result of the incident. At the 1/3 distance mark. Still be the number 1, Orion Sellers at the front of the field. Jeffrey Stanton into 2. Maybe in a little bit of biding his time just a little bit here. Drivers were talking during the pre-race. One of the things about setups that's interesting is how throttle dependent these sprint cars are, the selection of gear ratio and even how much fuel you put in the tank really makes a big difference. If you look at the cars, you're basically looking at that entire rear tail section is one big fuel tank. The more fuel you put in the back end of these race cars, the more weight you're going to be putting on the rear end as well. That's going to help with the grip. The other big part of it is the gear ratio that you select. If you can potentially gain more pure speed running a little bit higher of a gear ratio, but it makes the car a little bit more difficult to drive on corner exit. And late in the race, when you've burned a lot of this fuel off, that's really when things can get to be a mess here in the sprint cars. Comet Kart Sales number 1, Orion Sellers, still the race leader. Will go at least one more lap under the caution flag here. See if we can squeeze a word in here with Jeffrey Stanton, as we should be getting the 1-to-go signal. Jeffrey, we talked a little bit about the weather and how that's going to play into things here. What do you think the track's going to do as this race develops?
I honestly don't know. Sometimes I get that bottom of the grip up, other times I'm wheel spin like crazy, so I really don't know.
All right, there you go. There's Jeffrey Stanton. We'll let him get ready to roll here. We'll go back to green flag racing. Should be lap number 19 going up on the scoreboard. Actually, yeah, lap number 20 on the board here. Ryan Sellers is your race leader. Over Jeffrey Stanton, Jason Brown, Chris Janke. Looking a little bit further back in the pack here. Derek Love going to swing to the inside of Janke as they make their way off of turn number 2. South Boston Speedway at only 0.4 of a mile. Such a short-feeling racetrack as we're going to see the caution flag come back out one more time here. So we'll get back to that point in just a minute here. Go on board with Mike Barry. A little bit of a spin off of turn number 2, and that will unfortunately be enough to bring out the caution flag here. Just not enough room to get the car spun back around. Take one more look at it here. Keep your eye on that 7-Eleven machine. Comes around one of the lap cars. Almost like he pinched a little bit down too far on corner exit. And that will absolutely get the car looped around on you. Working our third caution flag of the opening night here for the Sprint Car Cup iRacing season number 3 for the 2021 calendar year. Get you a full field rundown. Ryan Sellers has led from the drop of the green flag as your pole sitter. Second place, Jeffrey Stanton. Looked pretty good, but you heard the uncertainty in his voice when we talked to him just a couple of minutes ago here. Jason Brown running in the third position. The Beast chassis number 12. Chris Janke runs in position number 4. Podium Esports on the side of that number 6 machine. Derek Love just back behind him. The Street Side Classics number 4. Fields getting up against the outside retaining wall. We're going to get ready to go back to green flag racing here. Off of corner number 4, greens in the air one more time. Another fantastic start for Ryan Sellers. Battles will continue back in the pack here, but everybody's separating out and getting single filed, but once again seeing caution fly on the racetrack. Don't see anybody that has crashed. Take a look here and see maybe. That may have been the issue with the slow number 11 of Gwendolyn Old. Just a little bit too slow coming back onto the racetrack with the field bearing down on you. That will bring out a caution flag. Lights will stay on the iRacing safety car here, so we'll go at least one more lap under the caution flag. See if we can get a quick word here with Derek Love. Derek, the cars look pretty good so far tonight, but still some very tough competition ahead of you here inside the top 5.
Yeah, the car's feeling good. Yeah, we're keeping it bunched up here. We got competition in front of us and behind us. I think Chris is getting sick of me trying to put it on the inside, but one of these times it's going to work and it's going to stick. We're going to get around them.
All right, Derek, thank you very much for chatting with us here. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks.
There's Derek Love. Lights are out. We're going to go back to green flag racing here this next time by. Still Ryan Sellers at the front of the field. Haven't gotten to do one of these yet. Approaching the halfway point here. Let's give you fans at home a chance to crank it up. Well, we try that one, and the caution flag is going to fly one more time here. Looks like trouble on the racetrack, possibly for Kyle Mooney. Let's get a replay here. Mooney in the number 16 machine down the back straightaway. Little soft spin. Wow, pretty good evasive driving. Oh, Jim Vig getting another piece of the action there. That may be the end of the night for Jim Vig. So we're giving you the full field rundown here. We'll pick up on that one. Just talked to Derek Love in the Street Side Classics number 4. Running just back behind him is Chris Janke, able to get the pass made on that last restart. Just back behind Janke is the Hoosier Tire, number 3 of Steven Mastro. Hoosier Tire East, specifically on the side of that number 3 machine. Just back behind him is Dan Smith, up a couple of spots from the drop of the green flag. The Hillbilly Gorilla, number 47. He'll be the number 12 on your timing and scoring screens. Canadian Joe Adams in the number 10, lining up just behind Smith here for the restart. Another fresh name on the broadcasts, Mike Berthay in the number 21. Mike Braun running in the number 18 machine. Running just back behind Braun, another newcomer, Wade Fields in the number 24. Jason Steinhurst, a regular in the series last season, in the number 20, as is Steven Spears running into 13. Coming back to Green Flag Racing, we're underway once again, and once again it's Ryan Sellers getting out to the good jump. Starting to take the tire wear a little bit out of the equation here as we're approaching the halfway point, about 21 minutes into tonight's race. Steven Mastro going to look inside of Chris Janke off of turn number 2. Seeing Dan Smith running a little bit of a higher lane through turns 1 and 2 the last time by. See if he's going to do it again. He does this time. Trying to get that outer lane to come in just a little bit. There's definitely speed up there. Just a matter of if you're going to find a big tank slapper out of Mastro off at turn number 4. Race leader is already catching up into lap traffic. 19th place running David Hamble going a lap down. Hamble you see up against the outside retaining wall. Seeing Jeffrey Stanton starting to come under fire from Jason Brown just a little bit. As Ryan Sellers holds that lead at about a half second. Seeing trouble for Steven Mastro. Take a look and see what happened here to Mastro. Oh, a little bit of contact. Mastro is going to go around, but they got off the racing line, so we stay green. Mastro spins himself back around. He's going to tag in, but Steven Mastro now back to the 16th position. Definitely not where he wanted to be. Good fight here for 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th. This is Jason Steinhurst, Steven Spears, Ron Quinzel, and Josh Batista. Batista coming around Ron Quinzel. Looking to go to work on Steven Spears, but not quite close enough as we're already 40 laps in the books here. A little bit of yellow fever at the start, but things have definitely settled down here. Batista to the inside of Spears. I wonder if the 13 machine, that purple and white car, hasn't developed a little bit of a push here as Spears is basically has to run the outside lane at this point. Ron Quinzel coming around the 13 as well there through turns 1 and 2. Look a little bit further forward in the field here, and Derek Love, Chris Janke going to continue their hostilities. At the front, Ryan Sellers holds on to a 0.3 of a second lead over Jason Brown. Over Jeffrey Stanton. Stanton riding about a half second ahead of Jason Brown for the third position. This fight back in the pack is going to be the best one we have on the racetrack. Josh Batista, Jason Steinhurst, Ron Quinzel, and Steven Spears. Three-car battle going to continue the fight off of turn number 2 down the back straightaway. Steinhurst has the position. Josh Batista able to open up 0.8 of a second in the gap over this fight. So pretty good speed there out of the 8 machine of Batista. Things heating up at the front. Race leaders moving up the racetrack. Chris Janke, Derek Love going to continue this fight. These guys have put on a spectacular show here so far. Already working lap number 53. They get moving. These sprint cars will tick off laps in an absolute hurry, and lap traffic is going to play a huge role as we come down to the last 6 laps remaining. Steinhurst slides out of the way. Stanton way up against the outside retaining wall. Stanton is within a car length. He's within about 1.5 feet as they make their way into turn number 1. The Thunder and Lightning division kicking things off in a big way here for 2021 Season 3. We've got a duel for the lead. Sellers stays down to the inside. Lap cars side by side down the back straightaway just ahead of the race leaders. Stanton to the outside. This is going to be tight down the front stretch. Sellers able to hold him off. Stanton makes the big drive into turn number 1. 3 to go here at South Boston Speedway. Great duel for the race win. 2 to go. Stanton looks to the inside. His lane's going to be chopped off, but if he gets close enough, he can force Sellers to the outside, basically box him in. White flag is out. 1 lap to go. Sellers has the lead through 1 and 2. Next car up, going to be 12th place. Oh, 1 car spinning to the inside. Stanton makes the move off of 4. Checkered flag in the air. Ryan Sellers picks up the win. absolutely fantastic late duel with Jeffrey Stanton. That was a heck of a show. Sellers going to absolutely burn the little bit of Hoosier rubber left on that number one machine to the ground. Good run for Jason Brown as well, coming home in the third position. As we wait for our podium finishers to get available for the interviews here, let's give you a look at tonight's final results. Ryan Sellers picks up the win by 0.3 of a second over Jeffrey Stanton. Jason Brown coming home in the third position. Derek Love, Chris Janke, Dan Smith, Mike Berthay, and Wade Fields. Back through the 8th position, Josh Batista and Mike Braun, your top 10. Ron Quinzel, Steven Spears, Joe Adams, Steven Mastro, Jason Steinhurst through the 15th position. 16th, Mike Lefholes, DL Lemon in 17th, Brian Payne 18th, Gwendolyn Old in the 19th position. David Hamble 20th, Kyle Mooney 21st. Tough night for Jim Vig in the 22nd position. Same is true for Mike Barry finishing 23rd. Donnie Staubitz and Jordan Nissen will round out tonight's field. Let's bring in our third place finisher here this evening, Jason Brown. Very, very good run for you there, Jason. What was kind of the key to holding serve here towards the front of the field?
But towards the end, it was managing lap traffic. I was kind of hoping for more green flag runs because I don't think I had enough car to keep up with them on a straight out run, and I might have been able to work lap traffic to my advantage, but good run overall. I've been out of the car for a little while, so I'm happy with third.
I say it's a good way to kick off the points chase as well here at a very difficult South Boston Speedway, and one of the best strength of field races we'll get this week.
For sure. This track's always kind of a crapshoot of what you're going to end up with. If it's, if it's hot, then the high line comes in and you can end up with some really good racing. And, otherwise it's the track's colder. The bottom line is really, really tough. And you end up maybe having to be a little bit more aggressive to make some passes. So it was a good night for racing. That's for sure.
Well, congratulations on the podium finish tonight, bud. Who do you want to thank?
Yeah, I want to thank my teammates, Ryan Sellers and Dan Smith, and everybody tuning in for broadcast.
All right, bud. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Good luck to you. We're hoping to talk to you again next week.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks for hosting this.
Absolutely. We like doing these ones. Let's talk to the guy who finished in second place tonight, Jeffrey Stanton. That was a heck of a duel down the stretch there. Ultimately, lap traffic just not quite playing out the way you might have wanted it to.
It played out how I wanted it to. In some ways, it was just hectic for all of us. There was 5 wrecks that didn't happen right there.
Yeah, we saw one to the inside with one to go. Was there any thought to, I'm going to stuff this in here and see if we can make it work, or was it just too good of a duel to try something dumb late?
I was just trying anything I can try. I was trying to make that upper outside work, which hasn't been really a dominant lane here at all in 3 years, which kind of surprised me a little bit. I knew the middle was going to be better if the track temp was hotter, but I didn't think the outside was going to come in like it used to. So,
well, fantastic.
I was just trying to keep the car under. It was just sketchy everywhere.
It was a fantastic drive and a heck of a show late here. So congratulations on the podium finish tonight, and good points night to start the season off too. So who do you want to thank?
Napa Auto Parts of Rockwell, North Carolina, everyone else that supports me, and y'all for broadcasting us again this season.
Well, thank you much. We appreciate that, sir. And let's pick up our race winner here this evening. We'll show you the duel for the white flag lap one more time. Ryan Sellers The race looked comfortably in hand until about 3 or 4 to go. What were you thinking when the relative number started to tick closer and closer to those lap cars?
I knew lap traffic wasn't going to be super easy tonight, being a super small track. But with the high side and the low side being usable, it was helpful. So I was just banking on that high side to try to get around the lappers, and hopefully they'd stay on the bottom. And some did, some didn't, and made it definitely close towards the end. And it was a good race with Jeff.
I was going to say, you and Jeff have done this week after week, it seems like, in a lot of these sprint car races. Has to be a little bit comfortable to know at least a little bit of the tendencies the guy behind you isn't going to do something dumb late.
Oh, for sure. I mean, like you said, there's a group of us that we run this car, and that's all we run, and we know how each other race. And I can trust Jeff to not dump me, and he trusts me to not dump him, and we can race close wheel to wheel, and it's something that, you're comfortable with doing. And here especially, I know Jeff was going to be on the top side, so I set my car up for the top side, and actually he was favoring the bottom tonight, so that was kind of surprising, but glad to pull off the win and beat Jeff.
Yeah, and a very good way to start off the point season too here. 25 cars in the field. This is going to be one of the bigger points hauls we get this season as well.
For sure. I mean, 25 cars on, the first night of the season. That's awesome to see. I hope we can continue this throughout the season because it makes for fun, interesting races, obviously, as you've seen. I mean, I think it'd be a different story if there was only 10 cars out there and 0 caution and 0 lap traffic. So I think that makes racing a lot more interesting and a lot more fun for even me, even as a leader, lapping people. So,
yeah, a spectacular show. Good luck to you coming up for the rest of this season. Who do you want to thank?
Mainly DRR Speedworks, Dan, Rich, and then now Jason Brown's with us again this season. So they've helped a lot with setup and getting me in the right direction again for this season, and hopefully we can continue building on it.
All right, bud. Well, congratulations, and hopefully we're talking to you again next week.
Sounds good. Thanks, Chris.
So there you go. There's your race winner tonight, Mr. Ryan Sellers. The Rich he mentioned there, by the way, Rich Foreman, actually out in our neck of the woods, covering the Eastern Storm for the United States Auto Club. Make sure you check that out. If you have the Flow Racing subscription, Eastern Storm is always some spectacular racing. But with that, we are going to get out of here because we got to get ready for race number 2 of our Tuesday night doubleheader. The Carolina Simworks TNT PM18 All Oval Series will be coming up next from Richmond Raceway. But until then, for everybody here at the National Racing Network, my name is Chris Graham. It's been a pleasure to have you joining us this evening. We'll talk to you in about 15 minutes. Talk to you soon, everybody.